G'day guys, I'm Dan, and today's video is about stock splits, and more specifically Apple's recent announcement that they're going to split their stock 4 for 1. And then I want to talk to you about whether that makes Apple a buy right now to get in ahead of all of this hype. And as always, when news comes out about stocks that aren't really understood by the masses, that's where you can see some real changes and also a little bit of confusion. So I want to give you guys a little bit of peace of mind, because at the end of the day, a stock split really doesn't mean a whole lot. A stock split is just a formality. It has no real impact on a stock and doesn't fundamentally change anything. So considering when I filmed this video, Apple stock was at about $400, it means that they will now be trading at about $100. These shares will be distributed to shareholders at the close of business on August 24th, and trading will begin on a split adjusted basis on August 31st. Now that all sounds a little bit confusing, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my holdings? And let me tell you, it means almost nothing at all. And by the way, this is actually their 5th time splitting their stock, and the most notable being in 2014 when they did a 7-to-1 stock split, bringing the price from nearly $700 down to around about $100. So it's pretty clear that they like to keep their stock price at around the $100 mark, because they feel like if it gets further away from that and starts increasing too much, it becomes hard to access and hard to afford for the average investor. Let's run through an example for you. At the moment, Apple's trading just over $400, so we'll use 400 as a round figure for this example. So if you have 10 stocks right now in Apple at $400 for a total value of $4,000, after the split, you will have 40 stocks at $100 for the same total value of $4,000. Basically, multiply your stock units by 4 and divide the stock price by 4. It really is as simple as that, guys. It does not need to be any more complicated. There's nothing to be concerned about. There's nothing you have to do. It's all going to be automated and automatic, and your holding will quadruple, but the price will quarter. So it works out exactly the same. The value of your holdings will be the same. So it's open doors, and it's appealing to a larger variety of investors, which is what Apple are trying to do. And by the way, something to consider is the fact that 80% of the entire stock market is traded by institutional investors who look to have million and even billion-dollar portfolios. And of America's top 10 companies on the stock market, Apple comes in at first with nearly 86% being owned by institutional investors. And for these big institutional investors, it's not even a blip on their radar, wouldn't even register, makes no difference to their life, and they are the prime movers of the stock market, and Apple in particular, because 86% is a damn high portion. But for the 20%ers, people like you and me who have thousands or maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest, it appeals more to people in that bracket. So all of this begs the question, is Apple stock worth buying before this big split? Well, the reality is, as we discussed, fundamentally nothing really changes. So the only difference will be how much hype is built off this split. If people start to get confused, and I'm betting a lot of people already have, then there's every chance that they'll feel like the stock is now undervalued and underpriced, which might lead them to buy a whole lot of stock before the split actually goes ahead, which would drive the price up. But you have to remember, those purchases will all be for the wrong reasons, because it's all based on hype and confusion. And one thing that's usually pretty consistent within the stock market is it generally balances itself out. If stocks were bought on hype, it usually finds its way back down to earth. But that just means that we have to look at Apple in a different way. We have to consider Apple as a company overall, rather than just what's going to happen during this stock split. Apple has been for many years a very, very solid company, and has sat beautifully in many people's portfolios because it's just such a reliable company, and it may be one of the safest tech stocks that you can possibly buy. They're very low risk, they're very low volatility, and they're a very low bankruptcy risk as well. And if you add to that the amazing quarterly profits and the profit report they just brought out, that stuff blew me out of the water. They're clearly doing very well, having amazing growth in a time where almost no one's growing, stores are closed. That is the sort of thing you need to look at with Apple. We need to look at their overall potential rather than just this little burst of time, because it's going to lead you astray. One thing that I've personally always loved about Apple as a company is they managed to build a brand that's it's like within us. We all know we either buy Apple or not Apple products. We either buy iPhones or Androids. We either buy Mac or PC, and we all know exactly where we fall on that scale. And that is a really powerful brand. To identify as Apple or not Apple, not many companies ever pull that off. So for me, knowing that their valuation hasn't changed and all of it is just built around hype and nothing fundamentally changes, As always, Apple at the moment is a hold. I just think they are such a solid company. I don't think they're going to let anybody down. Sure, there might be a little bit more volatility for this short-term period. I don't know which way it's going to end up falling at the end of it, but if you already have stock in Apple, hold on to those stocks. And if you haven't been able to afford Apple in the past, and this gives you an opportunity to get in because you missed that build-up, then it could be a great opportunity for you to buy stock while it is a little bit cheaper. But just understand, you're not buying on a discount, you're just buying a smaller percentage of their outstanding shares. But the bottom line is, a stock split makes almost no difference. It's all cosmetic. It really doesn't have an impact. No need to be worried, no need to be concerned. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a really quick one. I just wanted to ease any unrest for my subscribers, and if you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up, and until next time, I'm Dan and you've been Dansplained. See ya!